I'm Jason Klom, and this is the Comedy on Vinyl podcast. The year is 1975, the album The Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack, the artist, a lot of people, Richard O'Brien. We'll say Richard O'Brien. My guest this week is Ryan Cultrera. Thank you so much for doing the show, buddy.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm happy to be here.
And thank you for bringing a vinyl that I don't own, like for me to hold, because it's nice to hold it while you talk about it.
I challenged myself to fill that. I was like, what's something that he hasn't covered, he may not have handy?
Yeah.
I'm so glad I nailed it.
I don't know why I've never picked it up, though. I mean, like, I enjoy all the music in this.
For sure.
I enjoy the movie, the few times I've seen it, like, all the way through. I have to assume you've seen it live a ton.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, quite a bit.
You're the kind of guy who I assume has, like, gone out and seen it. Have you seen it a bunch live?
I have seen it in theaters, like movie theaters. I've seen live versions. I've been in a live version once.
Oh, so good.
Like, yeah, Rocky Horror has been a part of my film geek and my theater geek genesis. So, yeah, quite a few times.
I love this cover.
Right? I love, like, the 70s pop art of that, like, that cover, and...
It's weird because it's like the 70s trying to do the 50s, so it's its own thing. You know what I mean? I like that a lot. Holy
that
cow.
sums up the entire Rocky experience.
It absolutely
all these
does.
blends, and it's just doing its own thing.
So my parents wouldn't let me watch this or listen to it until I was a certain age.
Okay.
My mom didn't care that there was transgender, which wasn't a word yet, as far as we knew stuff in it. She's like, just wait till you're older because it's confusing. And she's not wrong. I guess it would be confusing. So how young were you when you first heard / saw it?
I have a bit of a backstory with that.
Oh, good. Okay.
So my introduction to Rocky Horror actually came via Dr. Demento.
Okay.
My dad knew that I was kind of getting into that kind of comedy as a kid, and so he bought me Dr. Demento's Greatest Hits, and that had Time Warp on it.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course.
So I knew Time Warp for a solid 10 years before I knew much about Rocky Horror.
Okay.
Like, that was back when, a mention of pelvic thrust was, it's just a dance move.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's innocent. I played that at kids' parties, like, for Halloween. Inappropriate.
So good.
So as I got further into high school, I was this guy who walked a fine line between, like, a jock and a theater kid.
Okay.
So, like, I always did both at once. And I remember specifically the night that I became a Rocky Horror fan was... It was a Friday night. We had a football game. I walked home. My girlfriend at the time was like, how are you in theater and you haven't seen Rocky Horror? And there was a theater across the river from us called the Seacoast Repertory Theater that did a live Rocky Horror every summer.
Oh, I mean, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Elliott, Maine.
Okay.
So, everybody knows Elliott, Maine.
Sure, of course. We all know.
Big metropolis. So it was like, okay, I know the soundtrack. Like, I had grown from knowing just the Time Warp to listening to the soundtrack, but I'd never seen it. So I remember specifically taking off my football pads, walking up to my mom, be like, Mom, can I borrow some clothes to go to Rocky Horror tonight? And not only were they like totally cool with that, but it turns out my parents had actually been very into Rocky Horror when I was a kid and had never told me that. So they would get babysitters and like had seen Rocky Horror a few times when I was a kid, and I had no idea.
Phenomenal.
So that was the night that like it was like a rite of passage as a theater kid to get into Rocky Horror, and that's where it all launched off. Football pads to fishnets.
Were they avoiding showing it to you, or did they just not think about it? What do you think?
I just think it hadn't come up in a while.
All right.
And I think I had a feeling they knew that day was coming because, I would do theater as well. And I think it was just one of those things where eventually they're like, the Rocky Horror days are coming.
Yeah.
And so eventually we crossed that bridge.
It's weird that it's so fucking perennial. I can't put a finger on why it is. Do you have any thoughts on why it... I mean, there's so much... It's so much about, like... ambiguity and growing up and hitting a certain period of your life where all you feel is ambiguity.
For sure. I think there's an element of embracing the strange that either you do or you don't. Where there are plenty of people who would not step foot into a theater to see Rocky Horror, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
But there are certain people who are intrigued by kind of what they've heard about it, and like they're curious to really get into the strangeness, to dress up, to yell at a screen or a poor group of actors. And I think that, there's a timelessness to that, and every generation, creates its own callbacks, and they have their own experience with it, and
Sure.
have their own elements to it that they kind of connect with or see as like, oh, that's taboo, and every generation evolves with Rocky Horror, I feel.
It's true. It's true. Do you well, I don't want to ask this early because I always like to ask people's favorite tracks, but we will get there.
Sure.
So did you? So you first saw it in Maine. Mm-hmm. Where are the other places you've gotten the chance to see it and then perform in it?
Sure. I saw it when I went to college in Boston. Mm-hmm. That was probably once or twice a month. They would do it in Boston, and my friends would go every couple months.
Yeah.
And then eventually me and a bunch of my friends took a bus down to New York City to see it with our friends down there.
Awesome.
Which is kind of one of the places where the cult following really began.
Yeah.
So we got to see it at kind of the genesis. And it was fun because I had a bunch of my friends who had never seen it come down there. So, they did the whole writing the V on the forehead for Virgin and made them all do it. And because I was with them, they made me do it with them, even though I was like, I'm a seasoned expert at this point.
Right.
But, it's all in good fun.
Of course.
So, yeah, we did New York. And then our college did a Shadowcast version of it once with like some live performances. I did that my senior year, and I got to play Riff Raff. I was very excited. And it was super last minute, but it was a lot of fun. So that was my only time appearing in it, and then I've seen it a couple times out here in sunny Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But I hadn't gotten to revisit it in a couple years, so I was excited when this was what we picked, because it's kind of like scratching that itch again, I suppose.
Well, it's hard because I've got on the list, like, I've got a bunch of things that later on I was like, I shouldn't have them in the list for people to pick from because they're musicals, but they're so very comedy adjacent. But
for sure.
This is easily the most comedy musical that anybody's ever picked for the show because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And sometimes even without intending to be.
Of course, yeah.
Which is great.
I love. There's so much going on. There's too much history to pack into one thing. So what? All right. So if it's that integral to who you are, it's actually I love that you picked this because it's also part of the reason that you and I have now performed together. Because if it wasn't for this interactive theater, Drinking Game would not exist.
That is very true.
There's no doubt about that.
And I came from that kind of in the same way I came to Rocky Horror, where I was in the audience first, yelling stuff at you guys, and then eventually joined you up on stage. So another full circle.
And that was a good time.
Yeah.
You've got a ton of notes, so I don't want to ignore your notes. I want to know what kind of thoughts you have. I want to know what kind of stuff we're talking about.
I mean, these are just, I wrote down some random thoughts as I rewatched the movie and listened to the soundtrack. I mean, the first thing that really struck me about this re-listening to it is how certain points of it are like really unpolished. Like there's like a little bit of like a roughness to it that almost feels like a student film that I enjoy. Like it's a group of theater kids getting together to make an album. I mean, there's parts where they're very clearly just cutting to audio from the movie that sound completely different than the studio recordings.
Yeah.
And the voice of Rocky changes track to track because they have different session recorders.
That's so
which
funny.
I had not noticed till very recently when I listened to it as the track.
That's hilarious.
Like, he changes, and there's some rough edges to it that adds to some charm, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't rewatch it, so I only re-listened to it. So I guess some of that stuff is not necessarily like the differences between the two or not. Do you know if any? Does anything exist in terms of recordings of like the stuff they did before the movie that you know of?
I'm sure they must be out there,
right?
Because it was on Broadway for a pretty short time before they ended up making it into a movie.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there must be some sort of original cast recording, unless this is it.
Right.
Because it's mostly the same people who did the show.
That's fair.
I guess this would be the closest we have them. I'm sure there are people who are bigger Rocky fans than I screaming at their phones right now being like, you idiot.
Well, I have a close friend who has been a fan from day one, and if she listens to this, she's going to tear me a new one. Well, at least I'm admitting I don't know shit. I'm just here to find some stuff out.
That's fair.
So let's talk a little bit about one of your projects because it's going to lead into my question, which may go nowhere.
Okay.
But you go to a lot of movie locations, which is my shit. I love doing that.
Yeah.
So talk about it a little bit.
Sure. I am the host of a show called Where It Was Made. And what it is we go around to the film locations of classic movies. We've done Back to the Future, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hocus Pocus, like all these, beloved cult classic films, and we kind of show how the locations look today. We get to talk to people who are involved in it. Like we, interviewed Bob Gale for Back to the Future and Robert Englund for Elm Street. Carl Gottlieb for Jaws. It's an excuse for me to do nerdy stuff and call it a profession, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were originally a part of the Joe Blow Movie Network, and you can still see all our episodes on there. We are currently shopping for a new home, and we're gonna kind of step it up, turn it into full half-hour episodes instead of like 10-15 minutes. So the show is kind of in transition at the moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. I do nerdy stuff, and I call it a job.
That's amazing, because I've seen a lot of the places you've been going to, including some stuff in your home state, some Stephen King stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Have you gone to anything from Rocky Horror? Because I don't know if anything was shot over here or if it was all shot over there.
If I ever make my way to England, I know where it is.
You know where everything is. Okay.
I know the castle. Yeah, I mean, that's 90% of the film.
Sure.
But, yeah, I know the castle... I do know is somewhere in England. I have a little spreadsheet of locations I want to visit eventually.
Yeah.
When I go to England, I'll cross off, where they shot the Winchester from Shaun of the Dead, where they did the castle for this. And they chose that castle actually because it was so heavily featured in so many Hammer horror films.
Okay, I love it.
So there was a lot of kind of old school horror leading to that choice to shoot there, as they referenced a lot of Christopher Lee films by picking that shot there. I think a couple Dracula projects. So that castle has a lot of history prior to Rocky Horror and afterwards, I assume, too.
Yeah. What was your fandom of movies like growing up? Because it's obviously your thing now. But I mean, like, what got you sucked into movies? Were you into horror movies? Like, I'm curious what this was to you when you saw it. If all the references were obvious when you were a kid, or what?
This was a little later in the development of my my nerdiness. It really all started when what really launched my genesis into film nerd was 6 years old Jurassic Park.
Okay.
And I saw that, and that kind of, I got obsessed with dinosaurs and all that, and then my parents, kind of explained what a movie was to me, because I was like, this is crazy. How do they do this? And like, well, those aren't real dinosaurs. Those were done by a man named Stan Winston. Steven Spielberg directed this, and I just dove in so hard on figuring out everything I could about movies. And so that was kind of the birth of it. I decided at 6 years old, I'm going to be involved in film. I'm going to move to Hollywood. Yeah. It's in progress. But that was kind of the genesis. And then the whole horror thing, because that's kind of my bread and butter these days. I host a horror show. My apartment is permanent Halloween decor. That's like one of my defining traits. I think that started with like Goosebumps, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and those were kind of the gateway drug to horror. And then Rocky Horror itself opened up the B-movie world to me. Yeah. Like when you heard all those names they mentioned in the opening song, that led to me researching like, okay, who's Claude Rains? What's The Day the Earth Stood Still? And so this was kind of the birth of my love of B-movies was Rocky Horror, because they go out of their way to reference and introduce you to some of those, B-movies of the past. Yeah. While also being a major one themselves.
Right. This movie is it's a weird way to homage and pick fun and also just entirely sexualize a genre. Like, right. I don't know where it comes from. Richard O'Brien has since said that he believes that he's 70% male but 30% female. Like, he believes he's somewhat transgender. It's only something he's realized in his later life. But I don't know why he made this at all. I'm glad it exists, but do you have a feeling, or do you know more about it than I do?
Buddy, I got nothing on that one. There are certain parts I still rewatch. I'm like, why is this happening? But that's what makes the movie so fun. It's like everything feels like it's just out of right field at all times. Yeah. So I don't think there's any true explanation as to why this movie and why this soundtrack is a thing. It just is.
Yeah. How about okay, so we'll get to the soundtrack, but the movie, is there a particular chunk of it that you absolutely love more than anything else that stuck with you maybe first?
For sure. I mean, the first quarter of the film for me and the soundtrack remain my favorite. The science fiction double feature through Sweet Transvestite.
Yep.
That section of that film is like, if I had to only watch a quarter of the film, it would be that part, because you cover them finding the castle, the time warps in there. That's like the purest Rocky Horror tidbit for me, is that first part.
Same here. I was re-listening to it. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that whole stretch. I'm like, I know everything here, and then from here, I actually kind of fall off.
Yeah.
Much as I like them, I don't remember the lyrics as much.
For sure.
You know.
Yeah. No. I mean, the whole back half. I mean, it certainly has its gems and memorable moments, but there are very few people who are going to list, Eddie as their favorite song, or superheroes, but you can't have one without the other.
Sure.
And the first half is certainly a lot stronger in my book, but any Rocky Horror is good in my book.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Have you made any friends over Rocky Horror? Like, have you met any people there, or like gotten closer to friends because of it?
Definitely closer with friends. There's, something about, you and your high school friends hanging out and then going to a show in fishnets together that really brings you together. And, in later in life, that would also come with copious amounts of drinking.
Of course. Of course.
Which, there's definitely a bonding experience to that, and kind of, learning the callbacks together, and seeing how weird your friends can get in this safe theatrical experience. Yeah, it's definitely brought me closer to some of my friends, and I think most of my previous relationships, like Rocky Horror, was like a benchmark. It was like, okay, let's see how we do at Rocky Horror together. And most of the time it was their idea, which is a good sign. I feel like you learn a lot about your friends doing Rocky Horror together.
Right. Like, I mean, to be fair, it's like, how open-minded are you? Let's like, let's pry into your brain a bit.
Exactly.
Are you comfortable with yourself,
I mean, I think back to a particular moment where I ended up taking my college graduation party to the same theatrical Rocky Horror across the river after I graduated, and like everyone got, we all got weird. I think I wore like a bow tie and short shorts, and that's it. And then we had one friend who was kind of, he was trying, he's like kind of a little bit of a rednecky kind of dude, because I'm from Maine.
Yeah, sure.
We're all dressed super weird, and he shows up in like a Canadian tuxedo and a sombrero, and we're like, I mean, you're trying.
Yeah.
But that kind of said a lot about like his comfort with this experience. I'm like, you're trying, man, you're trying.
That's amazing. They're on a level, it's perfect because it's so off entirely. Like on a level it's perfect.
For sure.
With the very exception that no one has ever found that outfit you just described sexually stimulating. I'm gonna venture that,
But the cast tried. Of course he got picked on.
Well, of course. And that entire audience, I mean, your goal then in that room is to make him so uncomfortable with your sexuality, or what he thinks it is, that he at least has to think about it for a few minutes. That feels like the goal, right?
That is, yeah.
Get people in the room. How comfortable are you? I kind of love that, because, I mean, I remember, I've only seen it live once, and that was in the theater in Santa Monica that does it. Do they still do it weekly?
I believe every Friday night, yeah.
Jesus, that's insane. And I've been here 16 years, and I don't know that there's a weekend that they've taken off. And yeah, I remember being like, just so, I'm like, I've never been in a room where a bunch of women are in lingerie. I don't know what to do. This is so uncomfortable.
Women and men.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But the women were doing the dance. They've also, at that, speaking of like drinking game style stuff, they do that same thing with other movies. Like I saw them do Grease 2 because I love Grease 2.
Okay.
It's a terrible movie.
It sure is.
But I love it. I loved it growing up. But like it's got, it's weird though about that. I interviewed some people about Grease 2 once, and I love it. And I'm interviewing some people, and I figure that they're going to be like so super sincere and not realize what's going on. And I want to see what happens, because I'm a young asshole. And one guy's like, yeah, Grease 2 is the reason I came out of the closet. I'm like, oh, well, never mind. Never mind.
Okay.
I can't shit on it anymore. You know what I mean?
That's when you
if it's got those same power as Rocky Horror for somebody.
Interesting.
You know what
I
yes.
never knew Grease 2 had that big of like a following.
Yeah, and it's got a big gay following. Like,
I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I'm like, I know that it's not the best film in the world.
Sure.
But I did not know that it had that angle to it. You know what I mean? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that.
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
news to me.
At some point, we are definitely covering Grease 2 on this podcast. I can't say who with, but that is definitely happening at some point because I'm obsessed.
Excited to hear
I'm
this.
weirdly obsessed. And also the novelization, worth a read, apparently.
They wrote a book
Oh, yeah. They
of a
novelized
musical.
it. Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay,
And apparently
sure.
the guy who novelized it got real creepy when getting in the heads of one of the teachers. It's real weird when an author's really inserting themselves into a...
I'm
Yeah.
so curious
Yeah,
now.
right? Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to talk
Like
to the
my weekend plans are changing as we're talking about this. I'm like, guess I need to go find Grease 2, the book.
Did this, because I feel like this solidified, I mean, I already knew, here's a weird thing. I knew who Tim Curry was before this because I grew up on Clue. So this was like, whoa, wait, what the fuck? And I feel like this game, did you become like a fan of anybody in particular after watching this and have to like dig into all of their stuff? Because there's so many people in this who ended up being famous. But...
For sure. I mean, it's Tim Curry's show for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew him, but I didn't know him when I saw this. You know, I'd seen it.
Sure.
I had seen Clue.
Sure.
Muppet Treasure Island.
Right. You must have grown up with Ferngully.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
But for some reason, I never really connected those in my head as the same guy.
Fair.
And then I saw this, and I went back, and I was like, well, who is this guy? And, did a little bit of research pre-IMDb. I was like, oh, he's been in all these things I love. And so, yeah, he skyrocketed in my head. But, his performance in this is the most pure Tim Curry you can get. Just the wacky
Absolutely.
Queen Elizabeth impression he's doing.
I love it.
It's
so
so
much.
bonkers. Like, that's my favorite Tim Curry is when they just let him go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have killed to see this on stage.
I know, right?
It's so frustrating. Have you met anybody who's been in the film or involved with it?
I somewhat met Barry Bostwick. About a month or two ago. I was working a convention here in California called Monster Palooza. And he was a guest and had a table.
Amazing.
And I was working, so I didn't really get to be as much of a fan as I would have hoped.
Sure, that happens.
But I did go up and say hello, and I guess coming back to this, speaking to how there's already another generation embracing this, there was a family there in line with him I saw later during this convention with two kids dressed as Riff Raff and Magenta, which is either the best or worst parents.
I know. How much do you let those kids see?
I know.
Is there a family edit? I'm now thinking, how do you edit this movie? And
I think it's just the
make
Time
it
Warp.
family. Yeah, right. Yeah, 100%. What's Rocky Horror? Oh, Time Warp, right? That 5-minute short film?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's already another generation already, like, maybe unwittingly, but like embracing it.
Oh my god.
But unfortunately, he's the only one I've met. I'd love to meet, everybody involved in this, Richard O'Brien and of course Tim Curry.
Yeah.
But how about you?
No. I would love to meet Richard O'Brien for a number of reasons. He's also in Dark City, which is a fucking brilliant, underrated movie.
Hell
and
yeah.
he's great in it. He's kind of like a Nosferatu noir detective. I can't even explain those. I can't explain that movie. It's been so long.
I do love that movie.
It's a great movie,
Yeah.
right? Also, one of those things that's actually worth listening to the commentary for, because Roger Ebert does it. And
Really?
Yeah, it's great. It's very
Oh.
good because he just loved it, and it's basically him talking about how much it's a modern day Metropolis, and it's very much the same film.
High praise, but I dig it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have not, and I desperately, obviously, would love to meet anybody who's involved with it. Okay, let's do this though. Favorite song? What's your favorite song? I'm gonna very quickly grab it from you because I'm gonna try and make a determination for myself. Which I can't. I mean, I know what it is.
My favorite song opens it. I mean, everybody loves the Time Warp, but I love Science Fiction Double Feature.
Yeah.
I think there's a gentle nostalgia that they bring you into the movie with that I enjoy there. There's I love all the references. I love how it plays out in the film. It's just a pair of singing lips.
Yes.
It's simple. It's not, it's the calm before the storm that is this album. And I think I love how it opens. I'm a sucker for a good opening track, a good opening to a film. It's both at once.
Right.
There's a lot to dive into. If you don't know what they're talking about, it kind of sets up like, here's what we're about to reference. Go do your homework. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's one of those tracks that you can just kind of throw into a playlist and listen to without like your friends being like, why? Mm-hmm. Which, I do anyway. But yeah, it's a simple track. I like it. And, it's hard. Everyone wants to say the time warp. I want to say the time warp, but sure. I don't want to be cliche.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But the time warp's so good.
It is great. I mean, it's hard not to like. Have you ever seen the show Spaced?
Of course.
Okay, well, there's just one really funny bit where they make fun of how much people like the time warp parties, and that's what I think of whenever I think of the time warp now.
It's people's access point for people who don't even know Rocky Horror.
100%.
Which is funny because they pinball wizard that, where that was a last minute addition to the play. They were
so interesting.
They were at 40 minutes of the play, and they're like, we need to make this longer. We need like a dance number or something, and they wrote that like last minute. And much in the same way that The Who wrote Pinball Wizard last minute, and that ended up being the breakout track. So was the Time Warp.
Wow.
Which is bonkers.
That's so crazy. We gotta write a good piece of pop here. It goes to show that it's hard, Rivers Cuomo, to just sit and plan out your pop music. Sorry.
Putting him on blast.
I don't know why I have such a problem with Rivers Cuomo's songwriting style.
Now he will never be on this show.
Son of a bitch. It's a movie. Okay, so it does. It starts like it's strange and off-putting because it is just a pair of lips. But it's like, it also is very much like, this is strange, but I can stick around. And then you get this weird 50s-ish couple, and they're just going through some dumb old cliche horror shit.
Sure.
And then, like, when it hits the wall, like, hits the fan, it's just not at all... I just love this build to what this movie becomes.
Right.
And I still could not tell you the plot of the movie. Okay, I've seen it enough. I still couldn't tell you the plot. Right? Right?
Yeah, same.
The entire... What's the fucking one where the RKO towers in the background and they're all floating in a pool? I don't know what's happening there. I remember originally seeing that and being like, what am I watching? Should I enjoy... My mom told me I'd enjoy this. What am I... And I like, part of me really likes it and part of me is so confused.
Yeah.
And I like it because I'm confused.
I think that sentence right there sums up the entire experience.
It's it. What are the parts that you think are unintentionally funny? This is what I want to talk about because... It seems so self-aware, but I bet there's some parts in there that 100% were not like intended to be the kind of funny they end up being now.
Okay. It's the things I learned about through seeing it in the theaters that audiences pointed out. The accidental injuries that made it into the film.
Oh my God. Okay.
Funny.
Please hit me.
There's... that's what they said. Because they had such a low budget, they only had like 1 or 2 takes.
Sure.
And so there are so many times where actors are accidentally hitting each other in the face. Or like poor Susan Sarandon gets her hand pounded on by Barry Bostwick in a scene when he pounds his fist on the table. And she actually gets her revenge later in the film. During that pool sequence, she like throws her hands up and hits him in the face. And it kind of looks intentional. Which like, fair is fair.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things like that throughout this film where it's like you can tell like they're so tightly on budget. They had one take, whatever we get makes it in, and there's so many wrinkles here and there, and I think that just adds to the charm of it all.
For sure. It's one of those movies that weirdly, like, it's the writing and the music, it's all competent. And then when they make it, it's strange to me that actually is an actual element of it, that there are actual limitations because they're making fun of movies that had so many budget limitations, so that naturally it just falls into, like, I want to know what would happen if tomorrow you gave Edgar Wright a shitty budget to make an homage to a thing with a shitty budget. I want to know what would fall apart and what wouldn't. Because this is early homage culture. This is maybe not the first, but it is definitely on the cusp of... I mean, it starts out, like you say, it's like a whole song about, here are things you should know about, you know? And that's...
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very sweet, and it's almost sappy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is. It's 100% homage culture, but it's its own thing because it puts it all in a blender.
You can tell there's a very sweet, genuine approach deep down underneath all this insanity and, I mean, what is yours? Your personal favorite track on
Sweet
this?
Transvestite. There's no doubt about it.
For
and
sure,
that's
for
mostly
sure.
because it is one of the best entrances in the history of film.
Yes.
One of the best exits in the history of film. If you didn't know that Tim Curry could sing like a motherfucker, it shows you holy shit.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite songs to sing. It's the reason I want us to do a drinking game. I'll have to lose about 50 pounds, but it's one reason I want to do a drinking game of this.
Oh my God.
Because
Please do.
you're right, it needs to happen. But like not with the original tracks. I want us to actually sing it. Those of us who can sing. It would be amazing, right?
That would be so cool.
I mean, it would probably be the craziest version of that show because it would probably end up being the drunkest. I feel like.
For sure.
Right? And there'd be at least one person fucking somewhere that shouldn't be fucking because I just feel like that they would just inspire that in someone.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe it's happened in drinking games before. I don't know. I don't hang around to see what happens.
I mean,
but I don't know
I've
who
been
watches
in the audience for a lot. There's
I don't know who watches me as Vizzini and like, yeah, you know what? Let's do this because I'm gonna say that would turn you off immediately.
I mean, speak for yourself. Things get weird in that audience, man. I'll tell you that.
Do you re-listen to this a lot, or is it just something you pick up on occasion? Like, where's its place in your life?
Yeah, I re-listened to it quite a bit. It's on the rotation of like the front half of my record crate, where it'll be the middle of January or February, and I'll be listening to this on full blast. I'm like, I bet my neighbors think I'm so weird. It's like, it's February. I'm the guy with, jack-o'-lanterns on his door listening to Rocky Horror at 8 o'clock while he's cooking chicken. So quite a bit. It's in my soundtrack rotation quite heavily because it's so good.
Yeah.
But again, usually it's just the first half, and then
Sure.
I'll switch to like, maybe I'll flip it over. We'll see how, the cooking's going.
Right.
But for some reason, this has become like I'm cooking dinner, let's throw on Rocky Horror soundtrack. I don't know. It's strange.
Really funny. Is there a song in here that strikes you as the funniest since we're talking about comedy? Is there one that like is particular? Is like, this is genuinely makes me laugh or did? Because I
Right.
mean, things that
We
make
do
you
need
laugh
to,
don't always make you laugh out loud eventually, but
That's fair.
I hadn't thought about it, so
comedy.
this might take a moment. So I had not even thought about this question until
Good
now.
question, man. Let's see here.
Because I honestly think there's a lot that when I was young pulled laughs out of me that are more sincere, like just ha 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 transvestite. Like I feel like as a kid I thought that was a laugh line, and now I'm like, no, that's just who the character
Right.
is. That's
Yeah,
100%
yeah.
just the character. I didn't understand that it was a thing. You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should point out anybody who hasn't seen the movie, he is from a planet called Transsexual Transylvania.
I'll leave this to you.
So there's so much going on. There's so much going on with no justification. It makes just zero sense.
Yeah.
He's such a great villain.
I think, let's see, for me, I think the funniest tracks probably are either I Can Make You a Man, because of just his like genuine just thirstiness in that song.
So, I'd forgotten that. And re-listening to it, he's just like having trouble getting through the lyrics.
Right. Well, it's his delivery
So good.
that makes it all good, because you like that's one of those ones where you can just see that scene in your head playing out because of his delivery in that song. Yeah, probably that one for me.
That's fair.
Or Hot Patootie, just because that's just it's Meatloaf being Meatloaf on screen, and it's not just the song itself that's funny to me.
Yeah.
But that they give this character this entire introduction scene almost to immediately get killed off.
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
So it's like why are we even bothering doing this?
Is this the thing that made Meatloaf think he could act too? I'm wondering. Is that like they gave him a couple scenes in a movie?
I blame those.
Yeah, right. It's fair.
But I mean, the character is just Meatloaf.
Yeah, Meatloaf,
So-
just like with a slightly different outfit, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's good in the Tenacious D movie. I will give him that. Like he's very funny for his 5 minutes in the Tenacious D
Sure,
movie.
sure.
That's back when he could still sing. Apparently, he can't sing much anymore. Sad. R.I.P. Meatloaf's voice. You didn't say it. I'm saying all the controversy.
I thought you were about to say R.I.P. Meatloaf. I was like, did I miss something?
Wait, shit. What the? Huh?
If Meatloaf dies before you release this episode, this is on you.
It's all on me. 100%.
Seriously.
Did you get to tell Barry Bostwick anything specific, or is it just like a quick, hey, how are you, big fan?
Pretty quickly because I was actively working, but I'm like, he's right over there. I should just go say hey. Like, it was basically, hey, how are you, big fan? And Rocky Horror was part of my genesis into Theater Geek, and he's like, "Oh, thank you very much. That happens to a lot of people." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Sure it does, man. I'm sure it does."
Yeah, I wonder how often he hears that. But also, it's nice that he's still like considerate, because some people can be less than considerate if you
Sure.
maybe tell them you played them in a drinking game show of their very famous movie, and this person charges you $20 for their autograph and still doesn't seem to be remotely interested.
You're
We can
gonna have
talk
to tell
about
me who
that
this
later.
is off air.
Yep, I will absolutely do that. And that person also knows another friend of mine who's in a drinking game. Was very kind to them about it, but they did not give a shit. Maybe they were having a bad day. It's fine.
We'll go
Maybe
with
they didn't
that,
like
yeah.
Phoenix Comic-Con. Maybe that wasn't their jam.
I mean, it's hot down
It's
there.
very hot, right?
You know, that's on Phoenix.
Barry Bostwick has a weird, like, he's this weird nexus because of his association, for me, with Michael J. Fox, if only because of Spin City. Like, my brain then is like, he's got this, he's a little bit of everywhere for me. Because anybody who's related directly to Michael J. Fox is like, got this, you know, it's all branching out. It's like the John Hodgman of then. John Hodgman, I've noticed everybody I'm a fan of who's an internet person, he's at the hub. I think he's in control of them all, possibly.
I mean, I can see your tack board with all the red yarn connecting.
Yeah, I don't like
everything
to
John
talk about
Hodgman.
it, but yeah.
I didn't want to call you out on the air, but
Yeah, it's fine.
sorry about that.
You can make all the, you know, assumptions you want about it. I'm just a big fan of his. The red yarn was
for
on
sure.
sale.
How can
The
you not
red
be?
yarn was on sale.
That's true. Michaels is very generous with their pricing.
You're correct, absolutely.
I get that.
When's the last time you dressed up for Rocky Horror?
Ooh, it's been about 2 years or so now.
All right.
I've fallen out of the loop a little bit, which is why I was excited to get back into it for this.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be happening again soon now that I've really gotten back into listening to this. Yeah, it's been a couple years. Last time I did it was Santa Monica.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was very half-assed because we decided like 2 hours beforehand that we were going. I was like, I don't know, guess I'm just not wearing a shirt tonight and like black pants. It was not my A game,
Sure.
but it was something.
Hey, it's definitely something.
It's something.
Does it, because like something like this is about nostalgia, but it's now at a point where it can give people nostalgia for nostalgia for nostalgia. So for you, it's going to, I'm assuming, maybe give you nostalgia for like your high school days and for theater days. Does it still have that at its core?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you miss I don't know how much theater do you do now because it's LA. Who does theater? But I'm just wondering, does it make you think back on that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, it definitely makes me miss being in that world. And you know, I since coming to LA, I've kind of stepped behind the scenes a little bit more, and only recently I've started to get back on the actually entertaining people end. So I'm already in this stage of like I miss doing that and not just being behind the scenes. So I think, you know, there's a big resurgence for that for me right now. But I certainly get in that zone when I play Rocky Horror, which is probably why science fiction double feature is part of my favorite. Is I can still picture those opening notes, the lights in the theater coming down, you know, everyone kind of getting settled in for a weird night, and there's a nostalgia connected to this for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm now trying to think what the fuck theater is even out here that would like scratch that itch, maybe other than a drinking game. I will say, you never introduced yourself to me when I originally met you as an actor, so good job on not being the most self-promotion-y actor in the world.
Yay.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's not a lot of competition on that in Los Angeles. So.
And it's now occurring to me, the show we did was Jurassic Park, which was like your film that got you into shit. So how excited were you to do that?
Dude, I was so excited. Like, yeah, that, like, Jurassic Park is, like, a golden film for me. So when I saw that you guys were having auditions for it, I was like, I'm throwing myself into this full throttle.
I'm so glad you did.
Thank you. It was a blast.
It paid off, and you were very funny in it.
Thank you.
Because
I had a blast with that.
There are times when, let's say, people like myself are like, well, I get to do this show, so I don't know. I maybe have phoned it in once or twice. Maybe if I don't have an accent to do or a voice, you know what I mean? And then I'm watching you, I'm like, fuck, right. We have to try that hard. You were busting your ass, and it was very, very funny. But I love that it was Jurassic Park that was your shit.
Yeah. No, that was a perfect entry point for me into joining you guys.
I left the theater and I was 6 years older than you at the time. I was so scared of them eating the cow and made me so sad.
Really?
I had to leave. I was a little baby.
Understandable.
I couldn't handle it.
That's tough for a 6-year-old. I get that.
Also, that your big fandom is like the last perfect use of CG in a movie because it's so good.
I mean, we could do a whole nother podcast on my feelings on practical effects.
Sure.
One of my other gigs is I work for the Stan Winston School, who are, of course, the guys who made the dinosaurs for that film.
Yeah.
And so I have this bias towards like the blend of practical and CG, and that movie like nailed that balance.
Yeah. There's a lot. Yes, we could talk about that
yeah.
forever. We could talk about the effects in Rocky Horror. Is there anything that you particularly like in Rocky Horror? Because there's a lot of like old school shit in it.
That is all practical effects, yeah, except for that castle lightning. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, we should loop this back to Rocky. We'll save Jurassic Park for another day.
This is my fault. I did this.
You didn't know the can of worms you were opening. That's fair.
Because I don't ever think about this movie in terms of production value, and you've seen it more than I have.
Sure, and you know, in preparation for coming here, I did a little bit of research on that end of things. Half the sets in that film were just taken from the theater to the soundstage.
Oh my God!
They already a lot of the material they used for the second half of the film, mainly like the weird pool sequence and all that, was like half stuff they just brought over from their theater set.
All right,
and the rest of it was just stuff that was in other houses.
Yeah.
I read on IMDb trivia, and so take this with a grain of salt.
Sure.
That some of the effects were too real. The skeleton in the clock apparently was a real skeleton.
Wow.
Don't know if that's true.
Amazing.
But the internet says it's true, and you can always trust that.
Sure. Absolutely.
So, and that really shows on the album. When you're listening to it, you're like, there's a real skeleton somewhere as they're doing this. I'm getting so distracted from talking about the album. Sorry.
It's fine. We're talking about Rocky Horror in general, so it doesn't matter.
It's hard to separate the full experience, though, you know? It's hard to... you can't have one without the other. You can't have the soundtrack without the, on screen and the audience. So it is a little hard in this case to
Well, especially
separate.
like it's so telling that you discovered it through the music first, but then now... inseparable. Like at first you didn't know. What were you picturing when you were hearing this stuff? This is what I don't know.
Boy. That's a good question. I mean, when I was a kid, I just pictured it because I had seen a couple visuals of it, mostly from the time warp scene.
Yeah.
So I thought this whole movie was just about a big party. Like, because you see the Transylvanian folks with the hats on and they're dancing, and so like half this stuff, like I thought Touch Me was about dancing, because to dance with someone you have to touch them, you put their hands on them. I was like, that's just about like dancing with somebody. Listening to this film before becoming a teenager was strange.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like I can't think of what else on here particularly was completely wrong in my estimation of what it would be. Oh, I thought Frankenstein was in it. Because of the track over at Frankenstein Place. Yeah. So I thought in my head the character of Rocky was just a straight up Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which I guess he's the sexy surrogate of a Frankenstein's monster. I was way wrong on that one. Yeah, it was confusing knowing the music before the actual content. But
except that you made up on you had it in your head. You had something in your head.
It was a weird children's PG version of Rocky Horror. Yep.
I'm now wondering if somebody could make that. I'm now just trying to picture what the fuck that would be. Your version of
Rocky Horror.
Your little kid's version of Rocky Horror. It's all about dancing and a party and a big Frankenstein's monster.
It was essentially the Monster Mash.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you were picturing. That's so beautiful.
Monster Mash the movie.
Is there I want to know some more trivia. Do you have any more trivia in your back pocket?
Oh, sure.
Again, I love when people bring notes because I almost never take them because it's all about what my guest thinks.
Sure.
You've got so much written down here.
I did my work.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yes, hit me.
One of the trivias is that they were offered a bigger budget for this film and ended up turning it down because they wanted it to have the charm of the theatrical production.
Love it.
Which, if they had had the budget, the studio wanted either Mick Jagger, David Bowie, or Cher to play Frank.
All not bad choices visually. David Bowie would have been the best choice vocally.
I there's a part of me that would love to see a David Bowie version of Rocky Horror.
Yeah. His voice is close enough to Tim Curry's, and that's why my brain is going there. I wouldn't mind Cher. Cher's awesome. I don't care for Mick Jagger, but that's just a personal preference. That is so weird. Yeah, that's right. You keep forgetting. Once they get the money, like, well, okay, well, you got the money, put a star in it. Nobody's ever heard of this Tim Curry guy.
And I'm very glad they turned that down.
For real.
It was a nice move, being like, let's just do it with the people we did the show with. Mm-hmm. And, that ended up making things a lot more difficult for them in the end, because tight budgets and whatnot. But
yeah.
They made a good call.
Yeah,
on that sort of thing.
That's fantastic.
Oh, let's see. What else? Okay. Nell Campbell, who played Columbia, was discovered busking on the sidewalk. And when she got cast in this film, her mother said she shouldn't do the actual album because she has a voice that could open a soup can. Which is wonderful motherly support.
Holy shit.
But also is not entirely wrong, but that works for her character.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. What?
That's a delight.
I just...
I really now want to see your episode visiting the fucking castle. Like, I want to know what that's...
I would
okay, if you
absolutely
go,
love that.
do you ever go in... would you straight up dress up for it? Or are you going to have to keep a host persona?
Well, I walked that line on the show.
Yeah.
When we did Back to the Future, I dressed as Marty.
Sure.
When we did Beetlejuice, I dressed as him without the makeup.
Right. It's different when you got to dress sexy, though. It might be hard.
Don't find Beetlejuice sexy?
Sure.
Come on, man.
Actually, there is a really great episode of the Blank Check podcast where somebody does talk about how hot they thought Beetlejuice was.
He's got a little bit of that energy. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He's got that dead dick energy.
There's the name of a new podcast. I would.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't think I would. I would probably break out some sort of riff costume.
Okay.
Wear a hunch.
Yeah.
That way, in case people are walking by, they're like, "What's going on over there?" They're probably shooting a porn.
Right.
So I'd keep it low key, but yeah, I would probably dress for the occasion. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
Like when I'll half my suitcase when I go to England eventually is going to be costumes. I'll bring my Shaun of the Dead for the Winchester.
Sure.
Probably Harry Potter robes, cause nerd.
Yeah. I am so pissed I didn't go to the Winchester. It just didn't work out when I went on my honeymoon. Like, that was a thing.
Oh,
we were
really?
gonna go to that and all the Hot Fuzz locations that we could.
Oh man,
It's harder than you realize.
I'm sure. Like in my head, it's a hop, skip, and a jump, but I'm
Sure.
sure once you're actually over there,
But if you're going over there just to do it, that's amazing.
fingers crossed.
And since you're on my podcast, I'm making you promise to bring me. Thank you so much for promising to do that. Now,
Sure. I'll let you take the seat. I fit in overhead. I'm a pretty small
Okay,
dude,
good.
so
That's
we
fair.
can con our way over there. Yeah, that works out.
is there a song that you like to, regardless of how much you love any of these the most, that you like to sing along with the most? Is there a particular sing along for you that really, or maybe that you excel at? I don't know if you're a singer.
I used to do karaoke with Sweet Transvestite. Yeah.
All right, good.
Yep. I would
Well done.
put on my best Tim Curry and strut around the karaoke stage. This was mostly in college.
Yeah.
So I haven't done it in a few years, but like I still like when I'm listening to it, even while I'm just in my kitchen, I can't help but do that. How do you do?
Of course.
You can't
No.
not sing along to that song.
It's so good.
And even though there's a part of you that's like, I kind of feel bad saying this now, but it's still
Well.
it's as the kids say, it's a banger. That song is so good.
It is. Well, and the bonus here is I don't think there's an element of judgment in any of these songs.
No.
Maybe some terminology's definitely changed.
For sure.
Understandings of what being gender fluid, etc., have changed. But I also think this is one of those movies that made people aware that that's a thing. I do think people have been like, oh, wait, it's a dude dressed as a woman who's maybe a man, maybe sort of but it's at no point is this a point of contention where he's like, I don't know what I am. He's like, no, I 100% know what I am. I'm whatever the fuck.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, yeah, the terminology itself is dated, but when this came out, this film was about, it's about breaking boundaries.
Yeah.
And, times evolve, and, its heart was in the right place, and I think you can still accept this film, warts and all. Mm-hmm. There's definitely some strange way, there's definitely some moments where you're like, they're handling this terribly, but I love this film very much.
Right. Yeah.
The sexual politics at certain points are a little dated, but you can. I think it's possible to acknowledge that there are things that did not age well with this film while also still loving it because its heart was in the right place.
Absolutely.
It was about breaking taboos.
Yeah. So I think you've made the argument for the movie and you've made an argument for the soundtrack, but what I always ask is, let's say you haven't seen the movie. Let's say you have the same experience you had when you were a kid and you never even heard this album. And you've at least explained it to somebody who doesn't know any better. Why give this a listen on its own? And then you can say, please watch the movie also. But
I mean, for sure you should, but the album itself is just a solid representation of different musical genres of the 70s, I feel. You know, you have your rock, you have your 70s love ballads in there. There's definitely a cool blend of the musical culture of that time in this album.
Yeah.
And I feel it represents that mid-70s, you know, Queen is just getting hot, and
Sure.
Bowie and the Stones. There's definitely elements of them. There's elements of, you know, kind of 50s rock that was experiencing a little bit of a nostalgia wave in the 70s.
Yeah.
That kind of, you know, do the twist mentality that works its way into certain songs between, you know, Brad and Janet. It's kind of a musical time capsule, I feel, of that time that also happens to be absolutely insane and funny, and it covers a lot at once. And even if you don't know much about Rocky Horror, which I feel like is tough these days, unless you're a kid, you can make up a story in your mind, and it becomes the Monster Mash.
You're now making me think that I want to cover the American Graffiti soundtrack just for the sake of taking the whitest thing in the world and comparing it to this. Like, that's a soundtrack that everybody had. My parents both had it separately, and then they both got together.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like this probably way too white music from the 50s. But this is one of those things that's adventurous and fun to listen to. And again, perennial. It's continued to go on and will continue to, because certain people are very persistent. People who like good shit and fun shit and like enjoying themselves and throwing shit at the screen. Exactly. What are the things? Remind me a few of the things that get thrown. It's been a while.
You throw rice during the wedding scene.
Yes.
You throw toilet paper, specifically Scott, if you can, when they say, "Great Scott."
Yes.
Which you could also do at Back to the Future, but they'll probably kick you out. They when they say a toast, you throw toast up in the air.
Sure.
What else is there? You bring bells when they mention bells. You ding, 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 ding. You don't throw it. That would hurt. What else is there?
There's so much.
I know. Like, those are always the standard ones, but it changes every place you see it. Like, you know, when I first saw it in LA, they had a whole different set of things that they did where, you know, I'm ready to yell this particular terrible insulting thing at this character, and they have a different version of that. I'm like, oh,
interesting. Okay.
They work this into it in LA, which I was ill prepared for. Like, every city seems to have its own kind of traditions with Rocky Horror.
That's cool.
But the throwing things seems to be pretty standard.
For sure.
Which you do in the theater version as well, not just the movie theater, which is a little bit more. You feel bad when you're throwing toilet paper at actors.
For real.
If you guys do this for drinking game, leave that part
nobody
out.
feels bad at throwing peanuts at us during Princess Bride. We get shit thrown at us.
That's
at least
fair.
that's like the worst of it. I've been pelted with marshmallows, peanuts. Nothing that's ever hurt. Although those fake snowballs for Elf kind of pack a punch.
Yeah, I apologize for that one. I was at the throwing end of that. I appreciate you guys not having any throwing moments in Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, for
Just
real.
shaving cream and water, and I felt very gross.
Actually, I think I've gotten the worst of all of them because I get shaving cream dumped on me when we're in Ghostbusters because I play Walter Peck.
Oh yeah.
And they do a fucking tub of shaving cream on me.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Not whipped cream, shaving cream.
I mean, the audience loves it though. You got to play it.
To be fair. Yeah. Ryan,
Yes.
this has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you for
You are
having me.
welcome back anytime, please.
I would love to come back.
This is going to come out in a few weeks, so it's going to be a little bit of a delay.
Sure.
But do you have anything that people should keep a lookout for? Any stuff people should watch that's already out there? Where can people find you and follow you?
For sure. Coming probably about a month or so after this episode airs, I have a new show coming out to a new streaming platform launching called VidiSpace. The show is called Sound Scary, and we interview people. It's kind of almost a bizarro version of this show. We talk to people about horror soundtracks, various scary things throughout the pop culture world. We're going to have Jason on at one point.
Woohoo!
So you'll be able to catch him on my show where I'll grill him about the Halloween soundtrack. Equally as hilarious as Rocky Horror. So I have that coming out. The Where It Was Made back episodes are available on JoeBlow.com.
Those are great.
And I can be found on the various social medias as Ryan_Cultrera, because I'm very original with coming up with usernames.
See, but all your usernames are uniform. I have screwed up. My Twitter's JClom, and my Instagram is JasonClom. And
okay.
I'm various. Just go to jasonclom.com. But if you do follow me on Instagram, hashtag the professional blur. That's me doing my extra work so that I can write a fucking book about it, guys. Just please make it so I don't have to work a day job. It's not your job. Just help me sell a book. I'm really putting this all on you guys. That's unfair. Anyway,
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Ryan, again, thank you for doing the show.
Thank you, everyone out there. Don't dream it, be it.
Perfect. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, have a good thing. Comedy on Vinyl is a production of StolenDress Entertainment. It is produced by Mike Warden and is hosted and edited by Jason Klom. Our theme song was composed and performed by Richard Levinson. You can email us at podcast@comedyonvinyl.com. You can also send snail mail to StolenDress Entertainment, P.O. Box 805, Burbank, California, 91503. Subscribe to Comedy on Vinyl on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you can find podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating and write us a review. It helps. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Comedy on Vinyl, or find everything in one place at comedyonvinyl.com. A major portion of Comedy on Vinyl has been underwritten by Stand Up Records. Please visit standuprecords.com for all your comedy needs and tune in to the new Stand Up Records channel available on the Roku, where you can also find select episodes of this podcast. Visit StolenDress.com to listen to our other podcasts, watch videos, and imbibe freely of our multimedia content going back 15 plus years.